Narendra Modi, Chief Minister of Gujarat, taking office. In 2001, Keshubhai Patel's health was failing and the BJP lost a few state assembly seats in by-elections. Allegations of abuse of power, corruption and poor administration were made, and Patel's standing had been damaged by his administration's handling of the earthquake in Bhuj in 2001. The BJP national leadership sought a new candidate for the chief ministership, and Modi, who had expressed misgivings about Patel's administration, was chosen as a replacement. Although BJP leader L.K. Advani did not want to ostracize Patel and was concerned about Modi's lack of experience in government, Modi declined an offer to be Patel's deputy chief minister, telling Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee that he was going to be fully responsible for Gujarat or not at all. On October 3, 2001, he replaced Patel as Chief Minister of Gujarat, with the responsibility of preparing the BJP for the December 2002 elections. On October 7, 2001, Modi was administered the oath of office. On February 24, 2002, he entered the Gujarat state legislature by winning a by-election to the Rajkot 2 constituency, defeating Ashwin Madhav the Incorporated by 14,728 votes, which enabled him to take office. 2002 Gujarat riots. On February 27, 2002, a train with several hundred passengers burned near Godhra, killing approximately 60 people. The train carried a large number of Hindu pilgrims returning from Ayodhya after a religious ceremony at the site of the demolished Babri Masjid. In making a public statement after the incident, Modi said that the attack had been terror attack planned by local Muslims. The next day, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad called for a Band across the state. Riots began during the Band, and anti-Muslim violence spread through Gujarat. The government's decision to move the bodies of the train victims from Godhra to Ahmedabad further inflamed the violence. The state government stated later that 790 Muslims and 254 Hindus were killed. Independent sources put the death toll at over 2,000. Approximately 150,000 people were driven to refugee camps. Numerous women and children were among the victims. The violence included mass rapes and mutilations of women. The government of Gujarat itself is generally considered by scholars to have been complicit in the riots, and has otherwise received heavy criticism for its handling of the situation. Several scholars have described the violence as a pogrom, while others have called it an example of state terrorism. Summarizing academic views on the subject, Martha Nussbaum said, "There is by now a broad consensus that the Gujarat violence was a form of ethnic cleansing, that in many ways it was premeditated, and that it was carried out with the complicity of the state government and officers of the law." The Modi government imposed a curfew in 26 major cities, issued shoot-at-sight orders and called for the army to patrol the streets, but was unable to prevent the violence from escalating. The president of the state unit of the BJP expressed support for the Band, despite such actions being illegal at the time. State officials later prevented riot victims from leaving the refugee camps, and the camps were often unable to meet the needs of those living there. Muslim victims of the riots were subject to further discrimination when the state government announced that compensation for Muslim victims would be half of that offered to Hindus, although this decision was later reversed after the issue was taken to court. During the riots, police officers often did not intervene in situations where they were able. In 2012, Maya Kodnani, a minister in Modi's government from 2007 to 2009, was convicted by a lower court for participation in the Naradipatya massacre during the 2002 riots. Although Modi's government had announced that it would seek the death penalty for Kodnani on appeal, it reversed its decision in 2013. On April 21, 2018, the Gujarat High Court acquitted Kodnani while noting that there were several shortfalls in the investigation. Modi's personal involvement in the 2002 events has continued to be debated. During the riots, Modi said that what is happening is a chain of action and reaction. Later in 2002, Modi said the way in which he had handled the media was his only regret regarding the episode. Modi has not offered an apology for the riots and has stated that he should be rather punished and not forgiven if he is guilty. In March 2008, the Supreme Court reopened several cases related to the 2002 riots, including that of the Gulbarg Society massacre, and established a special investigation team, SIT, to look into the issue. In response to a petition from Zakia Jafri, widow of Asam Jafri, who was killed in the Gulbarg Society massacre, in April 2009, the court also asked the SIT to investigate the issue of Modi's complicity in the killings. The SIT questioned Modi in March 2010. In May, it presented to the court a report finding no evidence against him. In July 2011, the The court-appointed amicus curiae Raja Ramachandran submitted his final report to the court. Contrary to the SIT's position, he said that Modi could be prosecuted based on the available evidence. The Supreme Court gave the matter to the Magistrates' Court. The SIT examined Ramachandran's report, and in March 2012 submitted its final report, asking for the case to be closed. Zakia Jafri filed a protest petition in response. In December 2013, the Magistrates' Court rejected the protest petition, accepting the SIT's finding that there was no evidence against the Chief Minister. 2002 election. In the aftermath of the violence, there were widespread calls for Modi to resign as chief minister from within and outside the state, including from leaders of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam and the Telugu Desam Party, allies in the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance coalition, and opposition parties stalled parliament over the issue. Modi submitted his resignation at the April 2002 BJP National Executive meeting in Goa, but it was not accepted. His cabinet had an emergency meeting on July 19, 2002. After which it offered its resignation to the Gujarat Governor S.S. Bhandari, and the State Assembly was dissolved. Despite opposition from the Election Commissioner, who said that a number of voters were still displaced, Modi succeeded in advancing the election to December 2002. In the elections, the BJP won 127 seats in the 182-member assembly. Although Modi later denied it, he made significant use of anti-Muslim rhetoric during his campaign, and the BJP profited from religious polarization among the voters. He won the Maninagar constituency, receiving 113,589 of 154,981 votes and defeating incorporated candidate Yatin Oza by 75,333 votes. On December 22, 2002, Bhandari swore Modi in for a second term. Modi framed the criticism of his government for human rights violations as an attack upon Gujarati pride, a strategy which led to the BJP winning two-thirds of the seats in the State Assembly. Second term. During Modi's second term, the rhetoric of the government shifted from Hindutva to Gujarat's economic development. Modi curtailed the influence of Sangh Parivar organizations such as the Bharatiya Kisan Sangh, BKS, and the Vishva Hindu Parishad, VHP, entrenched in the state after the decline of Ahmedabad's textile industry, and dropped Gordon Zadafia, an ally of former Sangh co-worker and VHP state chief Praveen Togadia, from his cabinet. When the BKS staged a farmers' demonstration, Modi ordered their eviction from state-provided houses, and his decision to demolish 200 illegal temples in Gandhinagar deepened the rift with the VHP. Sangh organizations were no longer consulted or informed in advance about Modi's administrative decisions. Nonetheless, Modi retained connections with some Hindu nationalists. Modi wrote a foreword to a textbook by Dinanath Batra released in 2014, which stated that ancient India possessed technologies including test tube babies. Modi's relationship with Muslims continued to attract criticism. Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who asked Modi for tolerance in the aftermath of the 2002 Gujarat violence and supported his resignation as chief minister, distanced himself, reaching out to North Indian Muslims before the 2004 Lok Sabha elections. After the elections, Vajpayee called the violence in Gujarat a reason for the BJP's electoral defeat and said it had been a mistake to leave Modi in office after the riots. Questions about Modi's relationship with Muslims were also raised by many Western nations during his tenure as chief minister. Modi was barred from entering the United States by the State Department, in accordance with the recommendations of the Commission on International Religious Freedom formed under the aegis of the International Religious Freedom Act, the only person denied a U.S. visa under this law. The UK and the European Union refused to admit him because of what they saw as his role in the riots. As Modi rose to prominence in India, the UK and the EU lifted their bans in October 2012 and March 2013, respectively. And after his election as Prime Minister, he was invited to Washington. During the run-up to the 2007 Assembly elections and the 2009 general election, the BJP intensified its rhetoric on terrorism. In July 2006, Modi criticized Prime Minister Manmohan Singh for his reluctance to revive anti-terror legislation such as the 2002 Prevention of Terrorism Act. He asked the national government to allow states to invoke tougher laws in the wake of the 2006 Mumbai train bombings. In 2007, Modi authored Karma Yoga, a 101-page booklet discussing manual scavenging. In it, Modi argued that scavenging was a spiritual experience for Valmiks, a subcaste of Dalits. However, This book was not circulated that time because of the election code of conduct. After the November 2008 Mumbai attacks, Modi held a meeting to discuss the security of Gujarat's 1,600-kilometer, 990 miles long coastline, resulting in government authorization of 30 high-speed surveillance boats. In July 2007, Modi completed 2,063 consecutive days as Chief Minister of Gujarat, making him the longest-serving holder of that post, and the BJP won 122 of 182 state assembly seats in that year's election. Development projects. As Chief Minister, Modi favored privatization and small government, which was at odds with the philosophy of the RSS, usually described as anti-privatization and anti-globalization. His policies during his second term have been credited with reducing corruption in the state. He established financial and technology parks in Gujarat, and during the 2007 Vibrant Gujarat Summit, real estate investment deals worth 6.6 trillion rupees were signed. The governments led by Patel and Modi supported NGOs and communities in the creation of groundwater conservation projects. By December 2008, 500,000 structures had been built, of which 113,738 were check dams, which helped recharge the aquifers beneath them. 60 of the 112 textiles which had depleted the water table in 2004 had regained their normal groundwater levels by 2010. As a result, the state's production of genetically modified cotton increased to become the largest in India. The boom in cotton production and its semi-arid land use led to Gujarat's agricultural sector growing at an average rate of 9.6% from 2001 to 2007. Public irrigation measures in central and southern Gujarat, such as the Sardar Sarovar Dam, were less successful. The Sardar Sarovar project only irrigated 4 to 6% of the area intended. Nonetheless, from 2001 to 2010, Gujarat recorded an agricultural growth rate of 10.97%, the highest of any state. However, sociologists have pointed out that the growth rate under the 1992-97 incorporated government was 12.9%. In 2008, Modi offered land in Gujarat to Tata Motors to set up a plant manufacturing the Nano after a popular agitation had forced the company to move out of West Bengal. Several other companies followed the Tatas to Gujarat. The Modi government finished the process of bringing electricity to every village in Gujarat that its predecessor had almost completed. Modi significantly changed the state's system of power distribution, greatly impacting farmers. Gujarat expanded the Jyotigram Yojana scheme, in which agricultural electricity was separated from other rural electricity. The agricultural electricity was rationed to fit scheduled irrigation demands, reducing its cost. Although early protests by farmers ended when those who benefited found that their electricity supply had stabilized, according to an assessment study, corporations and large farmers benefited from the policy at the expense of small farmers and laborers. Development debate. There has been a contentious debate surrounding the development of the state of Gujarat during Modi's tenure as Chief Minister. The GDP growth rate of Gujarat averaged 10% during Modi's tenure, a value above that of the country as a whole, and similar to other highly industrialized states. Gujarat also had a high rate of economic growth in the 1990s, before Modi took office. Some scholars have stated the rate of growth did not accelerate during Modi's tenure, although the state is considered to have maintained a high growth rate during Modi's chief ministership. Under Modi, Gujarat topped the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings among Indian states for 2 consecutive years. In 2013, Gujarat was ranked first among Indian states for economic freedom by a report measuring governance, growth, citizens' rights and labor and business regulation among the country's 20 largest states. In the later years of Modi's government, Gujarat's economic growth was frequently used as an argument to counter allegations of communalism. Tax breaks for businesses were easier to obtain in Gujarat than in other states, as was land. Modi's policies to make Gujarat attractive for investment included the creation of special economic zones, where labor laws were greatly weakened. Despite its growth rate, Gujarat had a relatively poor record on human development, poverty relief, nutrition and education during Modi's tenure. In 2013, Gujarat ranked 13th in the country with respect to rates of poverty and 21st in education. Nearly 45% of children under 5 were underweight and 23% were undernourished, putting the state in the alarming category on the India State Hunger Index. A study by UNICEF and the Indian government found that Gujarat under Modi had a poor record with respect to immunization in children. Over the decade from 2001 to 2011, Gujarat did not change its position relative to the rest of the country with respect to poverty and female literacy, remaining near the median of the 29 Indian states. It showed only a marginal improvement in rates of infant mortality, and its position with respect to individual consumption declined. With respect to the quality of education in government schools, the state ranked below most Indian states. The social policies of the government generally did not benefit Muslims, Dalits, and Adivasis, and generally increased social inequalities. Development in Gujarat was generally limited to the urban middle class, and citizens in rural areas or from lower castes were increasingly marginalized. In 2013, the state ranked 10th of 21 Indian states in the Human Development Index. Political scientist Christoph Jafferlot says that under Modi the number of families below the poverty line has increased and conditions for rural Adivasi and Dalits, in particular, have declined. Under Modi, the state government spent far less than the national average on education and healthcare. In July 2013, Economics Nobel laureate Amartya Sen expressed disapproval of Modi's governance record, saying that under his administration Gujarat's record in education and healthcare is pretty bad. However, economists Arvind Panagarya and Jagdish Bhagwati say that Gujarat's social indicators have improved from a lower baseline than that of other Indian states. According to them, Gujarat's performance in raising literacy rates has been superior to other states, and the rapid improvement of health indicators is evidence that its progress has not been poor by any means. Final years. During the 2012 campaign, Modi attempted to identify himself with the state of Gujarat, a strategy similar to that used by Indira Gandhi during the emergency, and projected himself as protecting Gujarat against persecution by the rest of India. Despite the BJP's shift away from explicit Hindutva, Modi's election campaign in 2007 and 2012 contained elements of Hindu nationalism. Modi only attended Hindu religious ceremonies, and had prominent associations with Hindu religious leaders. During his 2012 campaign he twice refused to wear articles of clothing gifted by Muslim leaders. He did, however, maintain relations with Dawudi Bohra. His campaign included references to issues known to cause religious polarization, including to Afzal Guru and the killing of Sohrabuddin Sheikh. The BJP did not nominate any Muslim candidates for the assembly election of 2012. He had published a Gujarati book titled Jyotipunj in 2008, containing profiles of various RSS leaders. The longest was of M.S. Galwakar, under whose leadership the RSS expanded and whom Modi refers to as Pujniya Shri Guruji, Guru worthy of worship. According to the Economic Times, his intention was to explain the workings of the RSS to his readers and to reassure RSS members that he remained ideologically aligned with them. Modi authored 8 other books, mostly containing short stories for children. While campaigning for the 2012 assembly elections, Modi made extensive use of holograms and other technologies, allowing him to reach a large number of people, something he would repeat in the 2014 general election. In the 2012 Gujarat Legislative Assembly elections, Modi won the constituency of Maninagar by 86,373 votes over Shweta Bhatt, the incorporated candidate and wife of Sanjeev Bhatt. The BJP won 115 of the 182 seats, continuing its majority during his tenure and allowing the party to form the government, as it had in Gujarat since 1995. In later by-elections the BJP won 4 more assembly seats and 2 Lok Sabha seats held by the incorporated, although Modi did not campaign for its candidates. In 2013, the Wharton India Economic Forum, WIEF, at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania cancelled the keynote video conference speech by Modi following protests by Indian Americans. After his election as Prime Minister, Modi resigned as the Chief Minister and as an MLA from Maninagar on May 21, 2014. Anandaben Patel succeeded him as the Chief Minister.